Shell first began production in Nigeria more than 50 years ago, and its legacy in the oil-rich and densely populated Niger Delta region has long been one of environmental devastation and human suffering.
Ogoni is the land, the people Ogoni. The agony of trees dying in ancestral farmlands, streams polluting, weeping filth into murky rivers. It is the poisoned air causing the luckless lungs of dying children. Ogoni is the dream breaking the looping chain around the drooping neck of a shell-shocked land.
The term resource curse, also known as the paradox of plenty, refers to the idea that countries with great natural resource wealth tend to grow more slowly than resource-poor countries. According to Sachs and Warner from our class readings, there are 6 causes of the resource curse, which include Dutch disease, where a dominant industry crowds out other industries, reducing diversity, raising costs and exchange rates, and reducing export-oriented growth. Volatile revenues, in which the market subjects to fluctuations in main resource prices.
There's a reason they're called conflict minerals.
Repression effect, where states have excess funds for a repressive military to facilitate exploitation of resources.
Complicated and horrifically violent wars.
We have to kill them. We have to kill them.
Debt proliferation, in which countries are encouraged to take on debt while local currency is strong. The downturn in resource price and devaluation leaves high interest rates and penalties for countries involved.
Interestingly, the IMF has no qualms at all saying that you are growing at 6 or 7%, but doesn't care whether your lending to real sector is in the area of 24% or 25%. It doesn't seem also to care or matter that interest and inflation rates are in double digits.
Promotes ethnic and regional divisions. According to Festus O. Igwakaide, Nigeria shifted from 12 to 36 states after enforced balkanization in 1967. The goal was to make the state an instrument of development. This strengthened these units of government as an instrument of sharing resources, changing them into entry points for elites, seeking access to more public resources.
The United Nations recognizes the rights of all the world's indigenous people. Indigenous people have been cheated through laws such as are operated in Nigeria today, through political marginalization. They have driven certain people to death. In recovering the money that has been stolen from us, I do not want any blood spilt, not of an Ogoni man, not of any strangers amongst us. We are going to demand our rights peacefully, non-violently, and we shall win.
Rentier effect, which is the assumption that low or no taxation equals impetus for democracy, enabling corruption. Not with weak and unaccountable state institutions, bribery is chosen over progress.
And if you fail to accept that bribe, they see you as a great enemy that must be struck down.
On the 31st of October, the Ogoni 9 were found guilty and sentenced to death. Despite worldwide appeals for clemency, on November the 10th, 1995, Ken Saro-Wiwa and the 8 other Ogonis were taken to Port Harcourt prison and hanged by the neck.
In order to better understand the resource curse, let's examine dependency theory, which is the argument that development in the core and underdevelopment in the periphery are connected. According to Singer and Prebish's theory, poor or periphery countries are in weaker position under the rich or core countries. This process perpetuates inequality between rich and poor countries and is often justified based on colonial relationships.
Botswana is rated the least corrupt country in Africa by Transparency International and is one of the few countries to have escaped the resource curse. Government owns half of Botswana and has used these revenues to build up massive reserves and develop the country's infrastructure. It's also put an economic diversification plan in place to develop alternative sectors like tourism, manufacturing, and agriculture.
we should be given the right to control our resources. Because resource control is our right. We are not begging, it's not a privilege, it's our right to control our resources.